They told you things would be different. Next month, we'll travel. Once things settle down, I'll be more present. When the time is right, we'll work on us. And you believe them. Not because you were naive, but because the promise sounded real. The detail was there. The conviction was there. But the time never came. And every time you brought it up, there was another reason, another delay, another version of soon. That's not someone who's trying and failing. That's someone using the future to keep you from leaving the present. It's called future faking. And once you understand how it works, you'll never unsee it. Future faking isn't broken promises. Broken promises happen. People get overwhelmed. Life changes. Intentions fall short. Future faking is different. It's the deliberate use of future promises as a tool to manage your behavior right now. The person who future fakes isn't planning to deliver. They're planning to buy time, to stop a conversation, to prevent you from leaving, to reset the dynamic when you start pulling away. The promise isn't a commitment. It's a control mechanism. And here's what makes it so hard to detect. The promises are often specific. Not we'll travel someday, but I was thinking Portugal in April. I already looked at flights. That level of detail doesn't feel like manipulation. It feels like a plan. That specificity is deliberate. Vague promises are easier to dismiss. Detailed ones feel real enough to hold on to. So you wait. You adjust. You give them more time. And the cycle continues. If you're watching this, you've probably already asked yourself, why didn't I see it sooner? Here's why. First, you were reasoning from good faith. When someone makes a promise, you assume they mean it, because that's what you do when you make a promise. You projected your own integrity onto them. Second, hope is a cognitive bias. Once we invest emotionally in a future, our brain works to protect that investment. We minimize the delays. We rationalize the excuses. We focus on the promise, not the pattern. Third, and this is the one that's hardest to hear, the future faker was paying attention to you. They knew what you wanted. They offered exactly that. Someone who knows your dreams and uses them as leverage isn't careless. They're calculated. The fact that it worked isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign that the person understood you well enough to exploit what you cared about most. Future faking has a signature. Once you know the patterns, they become unmistakable. Pattern 1. Promises appear exactly when you pull away. You bring up a problem. You go quiet. You start withdrawing. And suddenly, the future shows up. The trip gets mentioned. The conversation they've been avoiding finally happens. This isn't coincidence. The promise is a response to your threat of leaving. Pattern 2. Details change, but outcomes never arrive. First it was Portugal. Then it was when work slows down. Then it became early next year. The destination shifts, the timeline shifts, but the arrival never comes. When details change, but direction never moves, you're not dealing with circumstances. You're dealing with strategy. Pattern 3. Present problems are always deferred to the future. We'll talk about this properly when I'm less stressed. Once this project is done, things will be different. The future becomes a place where all problems get solved without any action in the present. If the future is always the answer, the future is being used as an exit. Pattern 4. Accountability is treated as an attack. When you follow up on a promise, a future faker doesn't say you're right, I dropped the ball. They say you're pressuring them, that you don't trust them, that your expectations are unrealistic. Accountability becomes the problem, not the unfulfilled commitment. Recognizing future faking doesn't mean you have to leave, but it means you have to stop using the future as evidence of the present. What someone will do doesn't tell you who they are. What they're doing right now does. A useful frame: stop evaluating the promise. Start evaluating the pattern. Has anything they said would change actually changed? Not promised to change. Changed. If the answer is no, consistently, then the future they're offering isn't a destination. It's a leash. The Stoic principle here is simple. We're not responsible for what others promise. We are responsible for what we continue to accept. You don't have to confront them. You don't have to announce anything. You just have to stop letting a possible future justify a painful present. Future faking works because hope is real. The desire for things to get better is real. And the person who exploits that isn't targeting a flaw in you. They're targeting something deeply human. But clarity is also human. And once you have it, it's hard to give back. If this described something you've lived, drop an F in the comments. No explanation needed. I put together a one-page checklist of the most common manipulation red flags. The ones that are easy to rationalize away in the moment, but obvious in hindsight. If you want it, the link is in the description. No sign-up walls, no course pitch, just a list. And if you want to understand the next move, how people like this respond when you stop engaging with the future, that's the next video. I'll see you there.